Good afternoon. Today we will be looking at organizational control. What is it? Why use it? And how is it accomplished? So let's begin with the what. What is organizational control? If we break things down according to Webster, control is a verb that means to check, test, or verify by evidence or experiment. And by one definition, an organization is an administrative and functional structure. Pulling these together, Daft, in his management textbook, states that organizational control is a systematic process of regulating organizational activities to make them consistent with the expectations established in plans, targets, and standards of performance. Within a company or organization, the leadership will guide the staff's actions and operations through known expectations that have been stated in written plans or procedures, having documented targets to strive for, and by the standards or specifications that have been set forth. Why strive for this control? One reason is to maintain a successful business. Good organizational control has been shown to provide a reduction in quality costs, higher job satisfaction in employees, increased recognition by clients, and it ensures that the work is carried out correctly right from the start. Additionally, businesses have seen higher customer satisfaction, better quality products, and a higher market share. Another reason to maintain strong institutional control is to avoid poor company performance. There have been too many instances of institutional breakdowns that have caused companies to consider the need to have control on what is happening within. Some examples include, in 2012, the New England Compounding Company used contaminated material in its steroid injections. This caused people to get sick, become infected with highly harmful disease organisms, and some patients died. Or the admittedly corrupt New York City asbestos inspection system preparing phony reports. These reports stated that the buildings were safe, despite the fact that they were never even looked at. Or the BP oil spill and explosion off of the Gulf of Mexico. Workers lost their lives because even though some knew that danger was imminent, they didn't know what the procedure was to do anything about it, or even who had the authority to make a decision to evacuate or to call for help. So to avoid yet another potential catastrophe or poor situation, companies can implement organizational control. They can work to stay on top of day-to-day operations through measurements of key indicators, and perhaps these kinds of situations may be avoided. Now, how is all this accomplished? Some important things to keep in mind are that organizational control is often a journey, not a destination. There might need to be a major organizational change that requires a transformation in the culture or beliefs within an organization, and that upper management involvement and commitment is required. A good starting point is for the control mechanisms to have a strong connection between company strategy, action programs, and their measurement. If they don't already have it, management needs to gather information about performance standards, the actual performance of the employees, if the standards are being followed, and if not, were any actions taken to correct these deviations in procedure. Other important things to consider are customer-supplier involvement, continuous improvement. You can't just improve one thing and think that the process is finished. There must be top management commitment. Even in horizontal structures, if the most upper-level leadership is not involved and connected with the program, it can break down or fail. There should be continuous strategic review of education and implementation plans. The staff must be provided with ample budgets and resources. There has to be value placed on teamwork and training. And timely feedback is imperative for the system to work. Companies with sound organizational control are constantly measuring and analyzing factors that truly impact performance, and then creating channels to communicate the lessons learned will result in performance improvement. Employees need to be trained and shown how to reallocate their time and energy to studying their processes, searching for causes of problems, and correcting the causes, not the symptoms, once and for all. Some specific tools that organizations have initiated are total quality management, self-directed work teams, just-in-time inventory, manufacturing resource planning, flexible manufacturing systems, and open book management. While there are many tools that companies use to gain better control of their organization, one in which I will focus on is open book management. Again, we will look at the what, how, and why a company would use this concept. To talk about what open book management is, I must begin with Jack Stack. He is thought of as the innovator of open book management. He first utilized the concept when he acquired remanufacturing from International Harvester in 1983. The company was struggling, and he completely reconfigured how it was doing things. He began educating workers on how business works. He literally opened the books. Stack is credited with formalizing and implementing the first fully developed example of open book management. Open book management is defined by DAFT as a practice that allows employees to see for themselves the financial condition of an organization and encourages them to think and act like business owners. Open book management discloses a company's financial records, expenses, and sources of profit. By sharing detailed operating information and educating employees about how to use it, management provides its workers with the opportunity to contribute to the success of the enterprise. In return, companies practicing the open book management give employees a stake in the business through profit-sharing plans or some sort of stock ownership. Stack felt that sharing information empowered employees to make decisions and to run the business as if it were their own. Many management innovations, such as process reengineering and self-managing teams, have only limited effects on a company's business performance. One problem is that they focus on methods and results, but not on reasons. They help managers show employees what they must do to improve performance, but not why they should care. Open book management relies on the idea that companies do better when the employees care not just about quality, efficiency, or any other single performance variable, but about the same thing that senior managers are supposed to care about, the success of the business. So why use open book management? Two simple reasons. One, employees see the importance of their individual jobs. And secondly, they become motivated to work towards the common goal of having a successful business. In an article from the Harvard Business Review, Case gives a couple of reasons that companies are beginning to use open book management. One is the emergence during the past few years of a role model, a company that explicitly and systematically practices open book management and thus serves as a benchmark teacher and converter of skeptics. Second, many highly successful entrepreneurial companies have organized themselves on open book principles right from the beginning and have gained substantial competitive advantages as a result. We now look at how it's done. According to Case, senior managers must see that three conditions are met. Taken together, these requirements are the building blocks of an open book system. First, information previously shared only among those in charge must be seen and understood by everyone in the organization. Second, managers must hold employees responsible and accountable, not just for scheduling their work or hitting quality targets, but for making their unit's budget or profit goals. Thirdly, in addition to paying employees for their time, the compensation system must reward them for the success of the business. When the financial and budgetary tools are put into the hands of the employees at all levels of the organization, there's a closer look at all aspects of the financial picture. It's like having 100 pairs of eyes looking at something instead of one or two. There is inevitably more scrutiny being placed on the reports. V.T. Davis says that while there is considerable variation in the ways that firms have implemented open book management, 10 common principles underlie most of these applications. 1. Turn the management of a business into a game that employees can win. 2. Open the books and share financial and operating information with employees. Number 3. Teach employees to understand the company's financial statements. 4. Show employees how their work influences financial results. 5. Link non-financial measures to financial results. 6. Target priority areas and empower employees to make improvements. Number 7. Review results together and keep employees accountable. 8. Post results and celebrate the successes. 9. Distribute bonus awards based on employee contributions to financial outcomes. And finally, share the ownership of the company with the employees. Case puts it more simply with 5 key steps to put the concept into practice. Getting buy-in, communicating and teaching key numbers, developing accountability, rewarding employees for business success, and generating and maintaining excitement about the program. Open book management is just a financial tool to use among many other performance indicators within organizational control. There are many other indicators. However, an important consideration to make is that performance measures and financial tools are not always tied together. Many times, operational improvements are not necessarily reflected by financial improvements. New production and control systems are being introduced into organizations at an ever-increasing rate. However, these systems don't always tie into a higher bottom line. Many companies achieve major improvements in operational areas, yet these improvements are not reflected in their financial statements or in internal management and cost accounting report. For a long time, companies weren't matching operational strategies with a corresponding review of their financial and management accounting systems. Many companies began measuring indicators by focusing on customer responsiveness, quality, innovation, and flexibility of product choice, and only recently started moving to a mix of performance measures that now include a financial report. Utilizing an open book management concept has helped to make this happen. For true operational control and success, an appropriate mix of financial and non-financial measures is required. Too often, firms improve quality and flexibility, reduce inventory, or other such activities, yet do not translate these operational improvements into better financial performance. And improving quality is not an inexpensive endeavor. Businesses are finding that it costs more at first to improve quality, but when the improvements are made, the financial picture eventually then looks better as well. Performance measures must aim to achieve corporate objectives, even at the lower levels of an organization. That is why open book management is successful. By making all levels aware of and responsible for budgetary and cost-containing ideas, all members of the organization have the same goals. Everyone within the organization must gain a broad understanding of the linkages between measurement, improvement, strategy, and financial performance. In conclusion, one very difficult aspect of improving performance measurements is that many leaders and employees are reluctant to let go of the old way of doing things. And secondly, remember, every organization is different. The important thing to understand is what you want to measure and why you are measuring it.